Unfortunately, a computer still can't outperform me.
Frankly, I think... It's overdue. I mean, think about it. Maybe if we'd had them on the streets early, they could have stopped that tone bombing before it happened. And yes, I've heard all the arguments that go on about civil rights. The only civil right I care about is the right not to be blown up by illegals.
CTOS-AR. Data reconstruction in progress.
Our contact's assailants are switching vehicles to elude pursuers, which is standard operating procedure for private military burks like Albion.
Albion? I thought they'd be sirs.
What can I tell you? They're mercenaries. If you keep looking, you might find out why they're interested in an SRS whistleblower. I've completed a thorough analysis of the vehicle and concluded it is a van.
That is true. But would you care to expand on your findings?
Well, I could also mention that the minute traces of sand in the tyre tracks indicate that it's been on a construction site recently. But you know me, hate to sound like a smartass. I've been scanning nearby construction yards for Albion activity and, long story short, some dozy git has forgotten to turn off the security camera in the makeshift torture room.
Show me.
I'm not who you think I am, I swear.
You're Malik, a SIRS officer and a leaky fucking twat.
That's not me. I swear to God. Please, please.
If he dies and we don't find out what he knows, I won't sleep properly for a year. Bagley, I need a location. Surrender, now!
Live alarm. I repeat, live alarm. Location sent, need a 1013.
Whoever tripped the alarm, they're gone.
Took control. Waiting further instruction.
Why are you doing this? Let's do this. Let's get this party started.
We're on their tail. Over.
All right, let's do this. Back up! I need... to play. Staying down!
Be advised, we are on the trail.
Negative. No sign of suspect. Over. Search has yielded no results. Report back to HQ.
It's okay, it's okay. I'm with DedSec. You called us.
Of course. You shouldn't have come here. Now they'll know for sure I've betrayed them.
Didn't we just save your life?
No, you've just damned us both. Look, I'll upload the intelligence onto an anonymous FTP. It'll explain everything.
Actually, I'd rather you explain everything.
My name is Richard Malik. I'm an intelligence analyst. I believe Zero Day are rogue SIRS officers who framed you for the bombings to seize power. Now they're murdering or blackmailing anyone who threatens them, which now somehow includes me.
Interesting. I'll see what Bagley makes of it. I better not regret this.
That I can't promise.
Malik has made his way out, and now I suggest you do the same.
Too many variables here. We should check his intel before we make a decision.
All right, 1 second.
Yes, Bagley? Let's check his intel, then call the team in for a briefing, shall we?
You're balmy. Keep it up. That drone's on a blink.
Hey fam, this is SIRS we're talking about, not some Albion dickheads. We should walk away, right now, while we still have kneecaps.
No way. He needs our help.
May I present the third option? Just use him. An SIRS whistleblower, even one you don't trust, could still help us find the arseholes that blew up half of London and framed DedSec for it. You don't have to invite him to your birthday, just use his information.
Ah, bless, bruv. Sure.
God willing, I be living large, still enjoy
Fuck up. Hey, mate.
Come on. You're better than this.
Just put some effort in. You can get over it.
Just hang in there, okay?
Sometimes people think they're helping, but the words they use just get in the way. We're not here to...
Oh, strange.
I'm here. Are you ready to begin?
Here's the gist. Malik's intelligence checks out. A rogue faction of SARS officers framed DedSec for the bombings to consolidate power over the government. But now they've noticed that some people are standing up to the new order, and they're blaming you.
I believe these are the people you call Zero Day. I don't know their names, but it's safe to assume they have a ringleader. And in my experience overseas, removing the leader...
Obviously. We take out the ringleader and we stop Zero Day. But why come to us now?
2 weeks ago, a shell company connected with Zero Day's operations imported 40 kilos of Semtex from an old Soviet bloc depot. But it never left London. Which means Zero Day is planning a bombing that will make those earlier bombings look like a bonfire. And I think I know why.
As we're all now painfully aware, false flag attacks are a common propaganda tool for despots. Kill a load of people and the rest fall into line behind whoever says they won't let it happen again. In this case, Zero Day.
Which means we both want to discover who's pulling Zero Day strings and stop them.
We need to get hold of the personnel dossiers of anyone connected with the earlier bombings and their cover-up. Then Malik and I can analyze their common connections and work out who's in charge of Zero Day.
And I'll be on the comm to observe.
So if Malik's right, Zero Day are some kind of shadowy cabal of spies who blew up half the city to secretly take control of the government. But now they're pissed off that someone's standing up to them, so they're going to do it again. That's awful.
I agree. You'd think they'd come up with something besides another bombing. Bit of a double beat, isn't it?
It's possible that Zero Day is escalating because DedSec has become active again.
Cut that victim-blaming shit. I'd rather get blown up 1,000 times than lie down just so some wannabe tyrants can stamp on my face.
Fucking hell. They'll never know what. What the fuck with me, huh? See?
Bloody piece of junk.
Seriously,
Flying piece of crap.
Hello, this is the bug, keeping the fire of hope alive in the vacuum of today's Britain. Okay, fires don't burn in vacuums. It's a little novelty Christmas light, shaped like a flame, but it's something. It is something to cling to. Joining me, as always, is Alice. And Alice, hold the front page. Technology apparently is here to stay. There's no way around that now. Much as I'd like to go back to the 18th century and see if we can have another crack at the Industrial Revolution and get it less wrong this time. But new tech is creating 4,000 jobs. Count them all, 4,000 new jobs, thanks to this new tech investment.
I mean, that's a very exciting thing if you're someone who wants to work in the tech sector, but I can only assume that this tech investment has created 4,000 jobs that will immediately be taken by robots.
Even if they're not, there'll be jobs that no one in their right, sane mind would actually want to do, but that's the price of progress, I guess. And we have to embrace the way technology is taking over everything, because maybe this is a ray of hope for us in this darkened universe, that technology will in fact render us all obsolete, and we won't need humans. And things that have ever happened all involved human beings. They're always involved whenever anything goes wrong from the very dawn of time. And think of this, an automated Nigel Cass, surely a step up from a human Nigel.
I'm here.
You're stealing SIR's personnel dossiers. The organisation is strictly compartmentalised, so they aren't stored in one central location.
Spying on the spies? They'll hate that. Tell me more.
SIRS uses a supercomputer called Filament to process information drawn from the CTOS network. It's like Noodle, if you could use it to search every document on every civilian, government or commercial device everywhere in the United Kingdom. Instantly.
Jesus Christ.
You can be horrified if you want, but it's saved thousands of lives. Get access to a Filament terminal and I'll provide you with the search terms.
So this is Filament. Impressive. I can help you break in, but we're going to leave a trail, unless, of course, Malik has an idea.
There. I've persuaded Filament Security to log that Spiderbot's activity as system maintenance.
For a perfidious SIRS agent, you're being fairly helpful.
It's not like the movies. Spies aren't the police. I believe in working with the lesser evils like DedSec to protect society from the greater ones.
So why did 0 Day kill all my friends?
There are differing schools of thought.
I have the dossiers. Now, I'm leaving, if nobody objects.
Well done.
All right, I've got personnel files.
Right, so we do a simple CTOS contact analysis and work out who's in charge of 0 Day. I'll have it done before you can say Guantanamo.
I'll handle the classified data, thank you very much.
It would be so much faster if I worked with you in order to do this.
The people in these dossiers are connected, but not necessarily complicit. It will take intelligence expertise to separate the wheat from the chaff. And when I discover something actionable, I will contact you.
He's disconnected. Pleasant fella. I have Malik for you.
Put him on.
We have to meet. There's been a complication. I can't access the files you stole.
Come again?
The files are locked, and a moment after we got them, I received this.
Hello, Richard. We see you're trying to find us by looking into our associates. That's a good idea. Hope you don't mind if we borrow it. Who was your masked savior, we wonder?
I've sent Bagley the coordinates for a meeting. I hope I don't need to explain why this is a priority.
Alice, hold the front page. Technology apparently is here to stay. There's no way around that now.
Got a potential recruit for you. I'll mark them on your map.
But new tech is creating 4,000 jobs. Count them all, 4,000. 4,000 new jobs, thanks to this new tech investment.
I mean, that's a very exciting thing if you're someone who wants to work in the tech sector, but I can only assume that this tech investment has created 4,000 jobs that will immediately be taken by robots.
Even if they're not, there'll be jobs that no one in their right, sane mind would actually want to do, but that's the price of progress, I guess. And we have to embrace the way technology is taking over everything, because maybe this is a ray of hope for us in this darkened universe, that technology will in fact render us all obsolete, and we won't need humans at all, because look at the bad things that are happening now. What is the common denominator behind all of it?
I don't know, Andy, tell me.
All the bad things that are happening now, all the bad things that have ever happened, all involved human beings. They're always involved whenever anything goes wrong from the very dawn of time. And think of this, an automated Nigel Cass, surely a step up on the human Nigel Cass. You could even program it to have a tiny, tiny sliver of conscience. And if you had an automated Prime Minister, you could program it to be occasionally in the goddamn country. So that's, again, it's a step forward.
Again, I insist that there's never been a Prime Minister, Andy. I've never seen him, I've never heard of him. The only times I ever hear what the Prime Minister does is when nothing happens.
I mean, it has reached the point where, and I've thought this for a long time, we would be better off if the Prime Minister was...
No, don't get up. I need a high-ranking SIRS officer's biometrics, eyes and fingers.
What the hell are you... We don't have time for this.
Keep your voice down. The data was encrypted.
So what? Bagley can brute force it.
Not faster than I could, and I've tried. It's hopeless in the time we have. Look, if you don't help me, 0 Day wins. Which means we all die.
Fuck me. You need the actual appendages?
No. High-res photos will do. The problem is it has to be the acting Home Office liaison, and SIRS will burn their credentials if they're attacked. It's protocol. So you'll have to get them the old-fashioned way.
Torture them?
Christ, no. Develop a relationship. Get someone close and take the photos covertly.
All right. I've done worse.
This part of the craft can be... ugly. Send someone who can handle it.
Bagley, some assistance, please.
I suggest you begin your relationship with the SIRS Home Office liaison the way you would with anyone, by meticulously poring over every detail of their life and hunting them down.
Go on.
The SIRS Home Office liaison is the bridge between the government and its intelligence service. Their office at Downing Street would be a good place to start your relationship.
Fairly obvious what to do then.
You're listening to The Bug.
Nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain. Hello, resistors, this is The Bug, keeping the fire of hope alive in the vacuum of today's Britain. Okay, fires don't burn in vacuums. It's a little novelty Christmas light, shaped like a flame, but it's something. It is something to cling to. Joining me, as always, is Alice. And Alice, hold the front page. Technology apparently is here to stay. There's no way around that now. Much as I'd like to go back to the 18th century and see if we can have another crack at the industrial...
The SIRS Home Office liaison works here, but I'm not seeing them on any unsecured surveillance. Ah, but their assistants here. Start by hacking them.
All right.
Breaths, stay calm.
Run them out! Front, perform search. Investigating disturbance.
drone is in your area.
Control, we have a crime scene at my location. Control, we are pursuing the target. All units, force this suspect to stop.
Investigation. Protest rallies are vaccinated.
You hear that?
Pursuing the target. Over. Any other patrols have eyes on the suspect, over? Control, we are still on the suspect. Over. There's our target. Over.
In pursuit. I repeat, we are in pursuit.
Negative. No visual of the suspect. Control, add suspect to the most wanted list. Over.
mode complete. Now scarf her or they'll kill you for sure. Got it. 16 email threads indicate the Home Office liaison is a right lush. She spends most of her time down at the Three Hawker Boys. If you want to start a relationship with her, that's as good a place as any.
Send the coordinates to my optic.
Done.
area's off limits.
Down on that drone.
No, she's in the kitchen on the right. Yes, I did. It's in the kitchen.
Where do you think you're going? Stand down, mate. Come on. Like this. Still like this.
What's happening?
Time to go, we think. Albion is permitted to secure the safety of the city by any means necessary.
What? Piss off. Anybody order anything?
What? You not having fun?
That's her.
search. I have this one.
This is not what's happening?
I find your face generally appealing. Is that good for you?
Ooh, if that's how you treat a one-liner, I shudder to think of what you do with two. Goodbye.
Having a bad day, are we? Have a drink. That helps.
Oh, I'm in a great mood, actually. It's just that I'm wasting my scant leisure time fending off the advances of a haggard swamp creature.
Fuck you!
Not even in your wildest dreams, sweetie.
I'm still learning the nuances of human interaction, but my analysis indicates that you aren't her type.
Yes, very astute, Bagley.
Quit your whining. There's plenty of fish in the sea, and we've got the biggest saltwater aquarium in town. At least one of our fish is bound to be fuckable.
Go on.
Just try someone else. Maybe a man this time.
A resistance is only as good as the people in it. We're happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Now, let's get to it.
Good to hear.
Now, what do we have here?
Unacceptable!
Try therapy.
Good question. Did we match on Enright the other day?
If we didn't, I'm going to have their CEO killed.
Oh, please don't. I totally made that up.
Ah, careful who you fib to. Someone almost died.
Now that would be weird.
I should say. Shall we move this conversation somewhere a bit more private?
Hello, resistors. It's bug time. Are you all sitting comfortably?
Oh, my. Didn't know you could do that. What other secrets are you hiding?
Me? No, I'm an honest book. Open book.
So after all that, did you acquire the biometric data?
Was a bit awkward, but yeah, I got loads of biometric data.
Brilliant work. So what now?
It seems you'll have to maintain the ruse a bit longer. The upload is still going and I have an incoming connection from the liaison.
Put her on.
Enough crap. Who the hell are you? You working for the Russians? China? Fucking America?
You think I'm a spy, so you called to, what, tip me off? You're bad at this.
Oh, do shut up.
Upload complete. Malik is on the line. I'm sure he'll be very grateful and polite.
This will have to do. We can meet at Westminster Abbey to discuss the results. And I wanted to say, you performed somewhat better than anticipated.
Ah, that was so close to nice. Willie could try.
He's disconnected.
Oh, piss off.
Seems like every day there's a bloody gunfight since taking over after the town bombings.
Hell yes. You see all that? Fuck, I'm good at being in DedSec.
You wouldn't have been recruited if DedSec thought you'd be killed that easily.
You trying to be nice, Bags? Aw, thanks, mate.
I appreciate Bagley's to-the-point nature. I'm sure you'll get used to it yourself.
Move your ass!
I've marked the meeting location on your map. Don't hurry.
Thanks, Bagley. That was fun. Let's do it again. I swear, I'm trying to help.
You've arrived at Westminster Abbey, final resting place of noted cousin fucker King Edward I.
Is that relevant, Bagley?
It is if you're his cousin. Anyway, have a seat. I'll notify Malik you've arrived.
When I say don't, you stop moving. Right away. Stop.
Stop before you regret it.
Anyone, call 911.
I have to walk away. I haven't slept in 76 hours. I can't do this.
You're just tired.
No, I'm afraid. I know who runs Zero Day, and I don't think I can beat her.
Cool story, bro. Now, give me a name. Wasn't asking.
All right. I'm trusting you with this. My analysis indicates that Zero Day is led by the current director of SIRS counter-terrorism, Emma Child. Legend has it she's the reason that Gorbachev survived the coup in '91, but more than that, she's my friend. She mentored me through my first field assignment years ago.
Oh my god, skip cutscene, fuck.
Wait. There's always a margin of error. If you go after Emma and I'm wrong, you'll have her and Zero Day to contend with. Confirm it's her before you do anything.
We'll be careful.
Be right. Or we'll both be dead.
I hate to agree with a career snoop, but Malik's right. We need to tread carefully here. This is the head of SIRS fucking counter-terrorism we're moving against.
Yeah, no, we're not moving against anyone. Emma Child's a lead, that's all.
Okay, I can live with that. So how do we find her?
Ah, I've got this one. Okay, Bagley, you can probably work out who her favourite lackeys are from those reports we saw, right? So do that, then hack their comms.
Done.
Oh, aren't you clever? But we can't just wait around for them to slip up and blab Emma Child's location. We have to make them slip up and call a meeting with her. So we do something big, something old school DedSec. Really scare the shit out of them.
Emma Child. The head of SIRS counter-terror, which coordinates operations with Albion out of the old MI6 building. So, if we were to break in and leave a message that we know will get back to her...
Cool. Works for me. Let's do it.
You're listening to The Bug.
Nibbling away on the
Auto drive now enabled.
Free Britain. Hello, resistors. This is The Bug, keeping the fire of hope alive in the vacuum of today's
You have
Britain.
reached your
Okay, fires
destination.
don't burn in vacuums. It's a little novelty Christmas light, shaped like a flame, but it's something. It is something to cling to. Joining me, as always, is Alice. And Alice, hold the front page. Technology apparently is here to stay. There's no way around that now. Much as I'd like to go back to the 18th century and see if we can have another crack at the Industrial Revolution and get it less wrong this time. But new tech is creating 4,000 jobs. Count them all, 4,000. 4,000 new jobs.
Auto drive
Thanks
now
to this new
enabled.
tech investment.
I mean, that's a very exciting thing if you're someone who wants to work in the tech sector, but I can only assume that this tech investment has created 4,000 jobs that will immediately be taken by robots.
Even if they're not, there'll be jobs that no one in their right, sane mind would actually want to do, but that's the price of progress, I guess. And we have to embrace the way technology is taking over everything, because maybe this is a ray of hope for us in this darkened universe, that technology will in fact render us all obsolete, and we won't need humans at all, because look at the bad things that are happening now. What is the common denominator behind all of it?
I don't know, Andy, tell me.
All the bad things that are happening now, all the bad things that have ever happened, all involved human beings. They're always involved whenever anything goes wrong from the very dawn of time. And think of this, an automated Nigel Cass, surely a step up on the human Nigel Cass. You could even program it to have a tiny, tiny sliver of conscience. And if you had an automated Prime Minister, you could program it to be occasionally in the goddamn country. So that's, again, it's a step forward.
Again, I insist that there's never been a Prime Minister, Andy. I've never seen him, I've never heard of him. The only times I ever hear what the Prime Minister does is it's when nothing happens.
I mean, it has reached the point where, and I've thought this for a long time, we would be better off if the Prime Minister was a watermelon. No, it would be, I think we'd all be happy with that. We'd all know where we stood.
You hear him being praised for his diplomatic skills all the times, but the best mark of diplomacy is when nothing happens. So good diplomacy is indistinguishable from him doing absolutely nothing.
You are listening to The Bug. 4,000 new dream jobs for everyone. All I can say, Alice, is that I'm very glad that my children studied drama at school, because that has set them up for life in modern Britain. That is the one core skill they need, the ability to pretend that they are living happy and fulfilled lives, that they have jobs that are worth doing, and that they're making the planet a better place, and that they control their own destinies, and that they have even a parody of a private life, and that they can smile without crying. That's what drama teaches them to do. Crucial skills in this day and age. Of course, it's not just the jobs that have been technologicalised beyond all recognition. It is also all reality. Thanks once again to Optic. According to Bloom, the Optic system is now the most secure it's ever been. And, well, of course, I mean, it's so convenient, Optic, isn't it?
You have reached your destination.
Hassle trying to exist in a kind of realm of reality. I don't even need to bother with that. I mean, sure, the government has hacked into my soul and now basically monitors my every waking moment. Thought. But at least I don't have to type, where's my nearest coffee shop?
Auto drive now enabled.
At least I don't have to waste anything between 8 and 12 seconds every day going online to look up how to make a bowl of muesli. And at least I'm not frittering away my precious mental energies thinking, what do I actually think?
Optic is so secure, Andy. It's more secure than a teenage girl reading a women's magazine. It's more secure than a comedian with a drinking problem. It's more secure than a young man who's just got his first motorcycle license.
Finally, before we go today, bug off to the Prime Minister, who has once again FRO'd to who knows where this week. He sure as hell is not here in London. I remember back in the day, Alice, when our Prime Ministers were either incompetent or crooked, but not both at once. But actually, no, I can't remember them being both at once. But incompetent, crooked, and not even in the country. That is one impressive triple whammy. I've had Lions longer than his longest spell on British soil in this last year. It's this halfway house I can't stand. Either come back and do your job, or leave the planet entirely. I'm pretty sure there must be a spare space station knocking around where he can go and entertain himself for the rest of the time. Can we crowdfund it? Tell you what, let's make a cryptocurrency out of something and crowdfund it that way. What have you got spare? Jelly beans? Are they still legal?
He's away so often, Andy. I'm starting to think he doesn't like the country.
That is all from the bug today. Fly away, bugs. We are done.
A world that can often feel really complicated and confusing, and they do offer, or seem to offer, action instead of what politics can often be, which is a kind of messy set of compromises where no one gets really what they want, everyone gets a little bit of it. And that's the problem, really, is you end up in a situation where it looks like someone is going to do something incredible and transformative, but of course either it never really delivers, or it delivers at a huge cost to, for example, dehumanising people. And I think you see that in the rhetoric around immigration. If you say immigrants are a problem, we're going to stop them, it's a legitimate political stance for a country to want to control its borders. But the way that that's done can often end up being very cruel and inhumane, because what you have said is immigrants specifically are the problem. Not every fascist is a populist, but they are two interlinked styles of government, really, because what fascists tend to do is rely on narratives of deep change and of enemies. I think that's one of the hallmarks of this style of politics, where you represent your opponents not just as people who disagree with you, but as existential threats, as evil people. So you see it in the course of the run-up to the Second World War, where Jewish people are represented as, you know, rats and a scourge. You see it with Muslims, where they are represented as coming to take over and replace white people. So you have big defined groups of enemies that the person who is trying to convince you to vote for them, or later on simply to support their regime perhaps, needs to defeat. There is always an enemy to be defeated. Unfortunately, one of the things we're very bad at as humans is recognising different things when they don't look like previous examples. So I think in pre-crisis Britain we had an idea that when fascism came it would look again like the 1930s. It would look like a single charismatic leader. It would look like a jackboots in the street and huge flags. And it didn't look like that. It looked like social media groups. It looked like poisoning the well so that no information could be trusted. It had its own specific flavour, and that, I think, blinded people, as did a kind of complacency that things aren't ever going to get that bad ever again. That's a problem for the past. We're much more sophisticated now. We're not going to succumb to these great moods of emotion where everyone is hysterically listening to a leader. Well, guess what? People don't change that much.
Where do authoritarians come from? Before the crisis, Ian was a senior journalist covering the global rise of the strongmen.
Populism started to rise as a response to a series of crises. Now, some of these were true, some of them were false. There was a financial crisis. People were poorer. They were less secure than they were. They were looking for easy answers. There was a refugee crisis. I mean, the extent to which that was an actual crisis is frankly questionable. There wasn't actually that many people coming over. But what you had was mainstream news reflecting really quite right-wing rhetoric, portraying what was ultimately a trickle of boats as a major crisis hitting the country. And once you get into that situation, you are primed for having authoritarian leaders with fictitious but easy answers come along with a populist message and basically say to you, look, I will take care of the problem. I will make it all go away. So how do populists capture existing political parties or institutions? The truth is this usually happens in about 3 different ways. The first one is the easiest one. You set up a party, you win an election, you take over. But that doesn't actually happen that often. The second way is a bit more common, which is that you basically find yourself in coalition with usually a mainstream right-wing party. And this has happened this is exactly what happened, of course, in the 1920s in Italy with Mussolini. It's exactly what happened in the 1940s in Germany with Adolf Hitler, which is that the mainstream bring them into power. And there they think they can control them, but you can never control this kind of party. They will always take charge. The third way is the most pernicious and the one that we recognise least. And that's when basically from the opposition, from the media, right-wing populists get their message out against immigrants, against corrupt elites, supposedly corrupt elites, and just pump out that message, pump out these frames of reference, and by virtue of that they take control of the political dialogue from well away from power.
It's easy to slide from democracy to totalitarianism. It's a lot harder to fight your way back again. But that's what we're here for. You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. Thanks to our guests for having the courage to talk to us. Keep listening, tell your friends, and spread the word. There's nobody to fix this but us.
Recent revelations of ministers purchasing £25,000 desks and £11,000 dinners have caused a public outcry. Join us on GBB as we examine these and other extravagant expenses administration officials have been charging the public.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. With me, Tash. It's hard to believe that there could be shortages of food and medicine in an advanced country like ours. And yet, here we are. Those old government promises of adequate food turned out to be just another lie. Today we're short of basic foodstuffs and vital medical supplies. Hundreds have already died of conditions that could be easily cured. The black market means that criminal gangs like Clan Kelly run our cities. And Prime Minister Dev Hassani isn't even around to pretend to care. How do we go from a consumer paradise to a place of empty shelves and fighting for supplies? What turns a land of plenty into a wild west of hoarding, food battles and black market barons? We protect everyone who comes on the podcast by keeping their identities a secret. Here's veteran political reporter Ian on the power behind shortages.
Look, what was the first thing that happened when Britain sealed itself off? The first stuff that got stopped from coming in was fresh food. We could live without the fresh food. Everyone's quality of life got instantly worse, but we could live without it. The most damaging part was when the radioactive isotopes stopped coming in. Now, radioactive isotopes, that's what we use in cancer screening, cancer treatment. Now, that stuff, it has a short half-life. Technetium used to save hundreds of thousands of lives just by screening for cancer, let alone testing for cancer. But that stuff has a half-life of 66 hours. As soon as those walls went up, there was just no time to bring it into the country, and that is when people started dying. And then the medicines. The thing is, there's loads of medicines that you just can't stockpile. There was a moment before it took place when actually there was some effort to try and stockpile some of the medicines. There was some things that could be done. For a lot of it, there was simply nothing that could be done. We had a major problem with drugs for schizophrenia. So we saw such an uptick in the kind of attacks that you saw in the street and people suffering on their own because they didn't have the mental health drugs, because those drugs simply couldn't be stockpiled. We eventually found the same thing with foods that weren't produced in the UK. And the trouble with the UK was we don't produce our own food. We never have. For hundreds of years, we produced under half of our own food. So as soon as those walls went up, we started having significant material problems in the country. Britain always told itself it had this national myth, right, that it would, because it got through the war, that it could go through any kind of hardship. That wasn't really the case. People during the war were far more frightened than some of this historical stuff makes out. Now, what did we see? People don't want to go through that stuff. They were desperate for the things that they had before, and they were scared. So they went to the black market. The same thing that always happens. And where did the growth of Clan Kelly come from? It came from people wanting the things that they could previously get legitimately and could now only get through the black market, funneling funds towards criminality. And from there, we got to the situation we have now of this bit of war between criminals and security that seems to dominate what's going on out there on the streets.
Nothing shakes people's faith in capitalism quite as much as when capitalism fails to deliver. Here's underground writer and analyst Alfie, The Politics of Property.
I think what we've come to now is a realisation that capitalism has essentially failed. I mean, the one key promise of capitalism that it makes to its citizens is that there will be surplus, that we will have plenty, and that that's the whole logic for running society in this way, that people will have enough. And now, with this kind of huge shortages of everything, you're seeing that system collapse. It hasn't delivered on its primary promise. And I think we've really reached a situation where we have to do away with capitalism entirely. We're seeing a situation where there's shortages for the many, but for a few individuals, there's an elite who are not struggling and short of anything. So this is kind of fundamental inequality of a capitalist system, which is no longer producing the goods for most of us. Shortages are being used as well. I'm not saying that there isn't a real shortage. There possibly is real shortages, but shortages are being used as an excuse for those in power, those elites, to keep what they want and not give to the rest of us what we need. So the excuse that there's simply not enough to go around is a justification for maintaining a kind of power of the 1% and leaving the rest of us short.
So if you're starving hungry tonight, if your parents can't get their medicine and your brothers and sisters have to steal to eat, remember, it's all for the good of Albion. Or Clan Kelly. Or someone. Just not us. But that's going to change. You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. Keep spreading the word and keep sharing the podcast. There's enough of everything out there for all of us. We just need the guts to take it back.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. Hello Britain, this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself on the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
It's just a good state of existence. Some good news, at last. There are no medicine shortages, according to the government, none at all. There have been various allegations about that. It turns out they are all fake news, trademark. There are none. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me. I'm not a medical supply expert. Take it from our beloved government. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here and actually say there's too much medicine, if anything. Just medicine. You can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I tried to pour some cornflakes into a bowl for breakfast and out-tumbled a 12-month course of immunosuppressants, corticosteroids, and anti-retrofungal neurodilatory estrogen spermatotropic fruit pastels.
The people claiming there are medical shortages are probably high on lots of medicine that they've been given. I, for one, believe that there are no medical shortages, Andy. Just last week, I went in with a broken arm and they suggested it might just be extreme period pain and prescribed me a drink of water and an astrology chart.
I think we can't be too far away from them just prescribing stiff upper lip like they did in the Blitz.
My uncle had a leg removed due to diabetes. They halved his insulin because they said there was less of him to be diabetic.
So, anyway, people, don't believe what you read or hear about there not being enough medical drugs to go around. It's not true. It's hospital hogwash, it's pharmaceutical flim-flam, it's medical mendacity, it's Hippocratic humbug, it's nonsensical narcotic nincompoop. I think I've made the point. Do not believe the news telling you that we've run out of medicine, nor should you believe the empty shelves at the chemists. They're also lying. Do not believe your doctor saying, sorry, we're fresh out of that, you're going to have to eat a carrot and pretend. And do not believe your own cobweb-ridden medicine cabinet at home. It might look empty, but it's not, for it contains the only medicine any of us truly need. Stirring music, please, producer Chris. Freedom. The medicine of British freedom. And the analgesic knowledge that however ill you may be, Bloom are keeping an eye on things for you.
I'm investing heavily in the placebo effect right now. You're listening to The Bug.
Obviously, I don't entirely mean that, because what is the first rule of the third millennium? If someone in power tells you something is fake news, what is it? Correct. A 110% cast iron, tungsten-coated, granite-scented, cosmically immutable, scientifically unarguable fact. But surely, Alice, the more important question for all these medicine freaks whinging on about feeling a bit poorly or having a fatal but curable illness and slowly dying unnecessarily is this. Do we actually need medicine. If you today got diagnosed with a potentially fatal illness, would you not look around at the nation that we've become and think, hey, Doc, put your life-saving treatment down. I'm going to take this free one-way bus out of here. Now hold that pillow over my face until the twitching stops.
I just don't think we should think of it in such a negative way. Don't think of it as a medicine diet, and you think of it as a series of healthy lifestyle swaps. Swap out anti-inflammatories for antacids. Swap out the iron lung for the aluminium lung. Swap out MRI machines for Mary machines, which is just a lady called Mary telling you you're fine.
Obviously, critical shortages are as much part of our daily lives, our society and our culture today as things like football, music and complaining about the weather used to be in the old days. And, well, food shortages, yeah, we just learn to live with them, don't we? And there's a lot of positives as well with all these food shortages. I mean, we were eating too much anyway as a nation. The government's just helping us live healthier lifestyles. It's so hard to diet on your own, isn't it? You need the support of a friend or a loved one or a government or collapsing social infrastructure. Positive too, meat, very bad for the environment. So we're actually rebuilding the polar ice caps every time we eat a scrap of lettuce. Positive three, the human race had already cooked all the recipes it needed. There was nothing more to be done with food. We've done that. We can tick it off. We've done it. I was bored of food anyway. I've been eating it all my life. If you've been doing the same thing 3 times a day, 4, sometimes 7, or even 8 times a day, you're bound to get bored of it. And also, final positive, no more meal times. Frees up all that extra time for appreciating all the selfless hard work that Albion do to keep us all safe here in Britain.
Well, as you say, Andy, people are drawn to novelty, and everyone's had breakfast once. Why you got to keep having it again and again?
Boring, repetitive. There's enough of that in life as it is. You are listening to The Bug. Well, another story that has come to the fore recently is that all European imports have been banned for public health reasons, which is great news. I mean, at least we can get ill eating good, home-produced, locally sourced, British, industrially unsafe food. That's something we can all cling to. Public health reasons, those are curious words. Alice, I don't know, is that in case the public gets too healthy eating all that Mediterranean muck? Let's have British food for British tummies. Spell